Why do I feel so much more relaxed in these clothes? Is it 'cause I want to be a boy? Why can't I even understand myself? I Want to Love You to Your Dying Day, or Kimishinu for short, is a manga I've talked about multiple times on this channel, and for good reason. Its blend of grief and tragedy, mixed with soft and adorable romances, within this delicately handled take on fantasy, has continued to captivate me, so much so that I've been collecting each volume as they've been officially released, and I'm still really looking forward to the anime. Fingers crossed that it is good. Please, I do not need a second Whisper Me a Love Song anime to happen. I can only survive through one of those each decade. It's been quite a while since I made that original video covering the series, and in that time, there's been a character that has quickly become my favorite, despite the little screen time they've received compared to our main lovebirds. But they have been an exploration of identity unlike anything else the series has done yet. It created one of the most meaningful sentiments I've personally seen in a manga from last year, and the character responsible for this is the lovable friend of Shina and Mimi, Haru. Or Hal, which is the name given to them in the official release, which is what I shall stick to going forward since, I'll just listen to what the official thing says. They are one of my favorite characters in any Yuri I've read, despite them not having any Yuri with any character yet. Is that allowed? Does the title of this video still work, actually? I'm sure it's fine. Our first time meeting Hal in chapter 18 paints a solid picture of what their life is like, as Mimi discovers them in the infirmary due to how loudly they were coughing. Hal deals with chronic illnesses, and though it's not elaborated on in great detail, we know it causes them to have coughing fits and fevers, affecting them to such a degree that they have to do their best to keep up with their studies in the infirmary due to their difficulty attending class. It's not even as if they're thriving academically with these accommodations, as they're often only barely passing their exams, though compared to Mimi's efforts, they're basically a scholar. Hal understandably has a more grounded outlook on life compared to the bubbly Mimi, whose body will never have to deal with the same issues as them, not to discredit the kind of worm she's dealing with. They don't view themselves as anything notable and try to rely on only themselves as best they can, while keeping a distance from others who skirt the edge of their comfortability. However, there is a very notable choice that they made for their life, and it's how they present themselves. Despite being defined as a girl, they wear the school uniform meant for boys, and when allowed to wear casual attire, they still wear clothing others note as masculine, which is something Mimi tactlessly points out. And this noticeably hits a place of insecurity for Hal. The following panels clearly show how taken aback Hal and Shina are by this question, while Mimi is oblivious to any deeper context of her comment. After a sigh of displeasure, Hal asks Mimi this: "Does it creep you out? Do you also think I'm weird?" With how delicately this scene is laid out, it very much wants you to take notice that Hal's relationship with gender is unique compared to all other characters. This moment, for those that put like a little thought into it, can very much parallel the experience of trans people. That fear that you're gonna come across as strange to those judging how you present yourself. And based on Hal's wording, it's clear this isn't the first time a scenario like this has happened. For a while, this element of their character was not really something that got much focus as Hal continued to reappear. That's not to say their later appearances aren't worthwhile. In fact, due to their position as a disabled student in a school designed around the most physically capable, they have some of the most interesting perspectives in the series. Even with how annoying they can find Mimi, they admire how she never looks down on anyone despite being so much more capable than everyone else. Capable being something that Hal values a lot. Their goal is to be able to take care of themselves once they're an adult. To just have access to the jobs they can get and afford all their needs is enough. It may not sound entirely ambitious, but it is an understandable goal that many can likely empathize with depending on their own circumstances. I can't help but admire how straightforward of a person Hal is. Their closed-off nature and desire to accomplish things by themselves is relatable, which is why the bonus chapter of Volume 8 ended up being one of the most memorable in the series. As the chapter focused entirely on Hal, it wastes no time bringing us back into the subject of Hal's identity. It hits you right out of the gate with a flashback to when Hal initially cut their hair. This is accompanied with powerful words indicative of someone taking charge of their own life, as they sever what's chaining them down. The point of this chapter immediately becomes apparent. Hal is still understanding who they are. When they were younger, they couldn't stand wearing skirts but would get ridiculed for wanting to wear their brother's clothes, as this was considered trouble for everyone else. Even so, they aren't really sure what it means that they are comfortable in boys' clothing. This all definitely points to Hal being trans, because like, yeah. But the specifics of it all and where they fully align is still one big question mark to them. Who they're attracted to, who they want to be, it's all one big question mark. And being in that position while your friends appear to have everything figured out and are flourishing can be understandably frustrating and isolating. It's like, how can you ever love others or even yourself if you don't know who you are? It can feel like you need to figure it all out immediately, or else you'll never have an answer, period. A lot of this is really well worded by Hal as they confide in the school's nurse about this subject, and she has some pretty simple advice. Just keep worrying about it until you arrive at an answer. That may sound unhelpful, but the truth of the matter is that this is something only Hal can figure out. Nobody else can decide on an answer other than them, and that's the overall beauty of gender identity. The desire to rush to your conclusion can be so suffocatingly strong, but you're allowed to go at whatever pace you feel is right, allowing your brain to take it all in. When you're comfortable with your decision, you'll be, well, comfortable with it. And in Hal's case, knowing others who've discovered themselves can be a source of envy, but it also means that no matter what they decide, they'll have friends who will support them and love the person they are no matter what. That silly girl who can annoy the hell out of you is also the same girl that said there's nothing weird about wearing clothes that you believe is right for you. I mean, there's also a chance that Mimi might be a TERF, but we'll leave that for the heated subreddit debate when the anime drops. So in truth, Hal is still figuring it all out, and that's perfectly fine. The lovely thing about characters in this sort of position is that it captures the experience of figuring yourself out in the first place. For many, especially in a social climate built around rigid definitions of gender and sex that has caused continuous oppression for the marginalized and repressed those that differ from the established norms of sex, it may not be a simple decision. It can be this discovery of yourself where you're not even sure what it is you're truly looking for, and there's no simple roadmap to carry you through it all, but it's still a journey you feel the need to go through regardless. It's entirely up to you to understand who you are, and I think that's a good thing. This chapter, 38.5 to be exact, and if you want to find it for yourself, delicately put all this into words that I didn't know this manga was capable of. Kimishinu is an emotional story where people grapple with their self-worth, in a world where either them or someone they love can be gone in a single night. The value of life and how to hold on to happiness within that life is treated with great importance, and how struggles with disability, sexuality, and gender give some of the strongest perspectives on these themes the manga has seen. And you know, maybe this could all mean nothing as the manga continues, whenever a new chapter finally releases. Most of this could very well go nowhere and Hal stays in the exact same position, or they even backtrack on what was expressed here. Those are all definitely possibilities, and you can make fun of me all you want in the comments if everything I've said blows up in my face. But that also doesn't change how potent I found this chapter to be. This was very important for me when I first read it, and I think others can get something out of it too. That's the reason I made this whole video. And the reason I think Hal is one of my favorite characters in a Yuri manga. I just wanted to bring that to light. I think I've said enough by this point. Be patient with yourself, do take care of yourself and the people in your life, and when you discover yourself, it will have all been worth it in the end. That's all. Thank you. Well, that seems like a good place to call it. This was a bit different from my usual manga videos, but I hope you still got something out of it regardless. Feel free to like, subscribe, and check out my socials in the description. As in, it's like, there's like one social that I really use, yeah. And you know, I also got other videos you may be interested in if you like this one, also about Yuri and all that other kind of stuff. Congrats to all of us for making it through 2025, and let's see what comes in 2026. Have a good day.